Got Tulsa versus Oklahoma State coming up this weekend. Oklahoma State ranked 12th in the FPI. Our Weenie's given an 86. Our stat Weenie's given an 86% chance of winning that game, coming off an 8-5 season. Obviously, Tulsa 4-8, but a big game for OSU as all eyes continue to be on that program.
My girlfriend texted me like, "Y'all game got postponed." I was like, "I don't know." Look, 19th, like, what?
I was hearing some people had friends at Tulsa, and they were like, yeah, Tulsa been shut down, and then all of a sudden, bam, like no warning, nothing. It was like, oh, game one been postponed. We've been going literally for like 7 weeks, so it's the longest fall camp of my life, man.
But I looked at ESPN when they released it, I was hurt. Like, I was hurt, I ain't gonna care. I was mad.
I was pissed. It was too close.
They could have called us last week.
Each week, we game plan, so you ain't gotta learn like nothing that,
Now we got
you learning stuff that we just putting in.
If you just put yourself in their shoes right now, what are they thinking? They're thinking, okay, we got 2 more weeks of practice, and we still ain't played a damn game.
An incredible opportunity to see some of the behind-the-scenes footage that they've got going on there. Gentlemen, a lot of conversation about Oklahoma State over the course of the offseason, controversy this summer over the T-shirt. We all know it. Coach, I got to get your thoughts on this. If you are a coach that's had locker room issues over the summer, how does that play into the beginning of your season?
Well, they play Tulsa, and they will probably win easily. But if they hit a hurdle, or if, God help us, we have more issues in this country that bring up some of the underlying issues that affected Oklahoma State this summer, then you have to really question how that team's going to react to Mike Gundy. As a head coach, you always have to be aware of your actions. You have to be aware of the example you set. You have to stay connected to your team and understand what they're going through, not just physically, but emotionally. What's affecting them on the field? What's affecting them off the field? What are the things in their life that you need to be conscious of? And when I say be responsible to your actions, that does also include wearing a T-shirt that represents an organization that maybe is not in concert with what the majority of your players or all of your players are thinking. And I think that stuff is gone right now, but it's not forgotten. And should there be some more issues that need to be addressed, then Mike Gundy will have a challenge ahead of him. And now, I've seen him go to bat for his players. We all have seen him go to bat for his players. I don't know him well, but I think he's a good man. But he is really going to have to do a great job this year navigating the issues as they arise with his football team, because the number one thing, and I think Desmond can attest to this because he was a player, is trust. If a player trusts his head coach, if a player knows that his head coach has their best interests at heart at all times, above all else, then they will run through a wall for you. You can yell at them, you can cuss at them, you can be hard on them, you can coach them tough, you can push, you can pull, you can demand, and they'll love you because they know that you love them and they know they can trust you. But I think that trust is so fragile, and probably even more fragile at Oklahoma State right now.
Yeah, Des, walk me through the other side of it from a locker room perspective as a player. When you lose trust with a coach, how much rope do they get?
I tell you what, not much. I think at this point, when Chuba Hubbard and the other players in the locker room, when they look at their coach Gundy, they try to move on. You want to move past it, but you don't forget. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, was he tone deaf? Did he care? Can he not read the room? How can he put that shirt on when he have players who are black players, and we're going through what we're going through right now, and this country is going through what it's going through right now? So at that they'll never forget that, because that, to me, that's a question that he can never answer properly. So they're going to go out there and they're going to play because they have pride. They understand what's at stake. They still want to represent themselves and their families well, too. But, yeah, if something happens, like Coach said, and if they hit a bump in the road, he can have a locker room that's divided, and he could lose his team. So moving forward, they have to be very extremely cautious. I'm not sure of everything he's done up to this point to try to heal the damage that he did. But I saw something on TV at one point where he wanted to make sure the players were all together, meaning that they were like black players and white players, mixed up and sitting together and things of that nature. But it's going to take a lot more to heal that wound that he created by wearing that T-shirt. That I have to give Chuba Hubbard a lot of respect for, because he called his coach out, and that's not easy to do.
You guys can check out the game tomorrow, noon Eastern on ESPN. Be sure to check out the series on ESPN+. It gives you a great behind the scenes on a locker room that has a lot of different reasons to watch. We've got a lot of things to watch over the course of the weekend. Some huge games. We're going to preview some of the best of the best, and we'll do it next. College Football Live.
Anything can happen.
Coming up Saturday on College Game Day, the Big Ten is back. Jim Harbaugh and Justin Fields will join Reese and the crew to talk about the return to play. Plus, Chuba takes charge. Not easy for me to say how last year's leading rusher's impact might be felt more off the field than on the field this year. And Gene Wojciechowski sits down with De'Ara King, who opens up about the tumultuous year that led to his transfer to Miami. You want to check that out on Game Day tomorrow. A ton of great games this weekend to keep your eye on, not the least of which USF Notre Dame. Let's see what Notre Dame looks like after high expectations that some say weren't met last week. So we'll see what kind of statement they can make. That's one of the good games on the slate. Also, you got Clemson versus Citadel. We'll see what happens in this one. Most importantly, we're just going to find out if Citadel's punter learned how to kick. It's too early to talk any trash. Clemson going to go out, do what they usually do. And to so many people, the game of the weekend is easy to see. It's Miami versus Louisville. Big ACC matchup. Obviously, big expectations for Miami. But Louisville also has their share of hopes. So let's take a look at today's more driven player presented by Goodyear. It's De'Ara King. Yes, Miami's only played one game this season, but King posted a QBR of 82 in that game. That number would be by far the best of any Miami quarterback in a season since college QBR was first tracked in 2004. Des, does Miami finally have their quarterback?
Yes, he's the best quarterback they've had in almost 20 years. I'm talking about back to Ken Dorsey. I like him. Dual threat quarterback. I love this offense with De'Ara King running the offense.
I thought you were going to take us back to Vinny Testaverde there, Des, but no. De'Ara King especially, watch how he improves week to week in this offense as he starts to get a better feel for the scheme that they're running and the players that are fitting in around him. I'm so excited about him. He's one of my Heisman hopefuls.
Well, I'm so excited about this weekend and that I got to hang out with you guys. For Desmond, for Coach, thank you so much for hanging out with us in college football.